Sally up, bring Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Bring Sally up, bring Sally down. Last done start, gotta tell the ground. Sally up, bring
for like a month.
All right, everybody, we're live. All right.
Another month of The Edge.
Finally, we're at The Edge. I wasn't at the last show.
Well, and I haven't. I've been here like without you, and then I wasn't here, so we haven't had a show together.
We have not had a show together.
Like 4 or 5 months.
There has been a moratorium on the Billy John Hour.
Yes.
Because you did your show without me. I was in Newport for a while.
Yep.
You did my show with Tim Fleury.
Yep.
And Anne-Marie.
Yep.
Is this correct?
Yep. Anne-Marie.
You talked movies.
Talked movies, talked realities. We talked about all kinds of things. Then we got a couple of political questions, but that's okay.
Right. So what's been happening?
What's been happening?
With you?
Not a whole lot of anything. Getting ready for vacation.
Why was somebody parked in your wife's space today? Now this is.
Oh, geez.
You're upset about that. You're very upset about that.
Oh.
He was upset.
Well, because we have numbered spaces where I live. And
yeah, he was upset.
My wife was on her way home, and someone was parked in our space, and there was no visitor spots.
No visitor spots.
So when there's no other spots, it's like, okay, so what are you going to do? Now he's going over to change the cameras. Tim's working hard. Because Marco's a tyrant.
Why don't you tell the people that Tim Fleury, who used to be a guest of yours, just to watch the show, former employee of Blockbuster Video.
Blockbuster, yep.
And Hollywood Video.
And Hollywood Video. I was going to say, you have to say both.
Has joined the technical crew.
Yes.
Tonight.
Yes. And he's got and Marco is yelling and slaving him and beating him.
Well, I know what's going to happen. After the show, we'll get some coffee.
Yep.
Right? And Mark will go to Dunkin' Donuts, and Marco will leave to go sell some soda on the highway.
You're paying.
Yeah, and Marco, please.
I like that.
Marco, please. Marco, please. And then Tim will go, I like Marco, but, comma, right? He's always got, it's just the way that, he kind of tells me to do things, but
I like him anyway.
So,
Junction.
So for those of you that don't know, Marco has made more money than Bernie Madoff on illegal soda sales. Yeah, he sells bootleg Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Thunder! Yeah. Got to know the real name. He puts a cap over it.
In fact, Ryan Kennedy is here tonight to warn children in the schools that if you see Marco with a big truck in the schools of Middletown High School going, you're my man. You're my man. You need some Dr. Pepper? What you need? Carbonated water? What you need? I mean, Marco is banned. It's bad.
He's even got the Mountain Dew with the real sugar now.
He is like the Joseph Kennedy. He's like the Joseph Kennedy of Prohibition with soda. Yes. Now let's explore our cast. We haven't done this in a while.
We have a cast.
Our
characters.
Crew.
Cast.
So Gary Aubin. Let's talk about Gary.
Gary
Aubin, the current.
Is Gary when you said that he goes like this? He goes. Yeah. Well, not again.
Right. I'm going to tell the crew.
We're not going to talk about the women in your basement.
Because Dan is here in his first show, and I don't want to ruin. I want him to know what's happening.
Okay.
Now, Gary.
Yes.
He tries to act like a mild-mannered. I'm the secretary of the Cable Advisory Board. We bought him a tape recorder.
Yep.
You can take the minutes.
Yep.
But the problem was he was caught by University Police, Wesleyan University Police, taking women, nude women, and he was chaining them up in his basement. And it was very unusual.
Gary's in there like, that's it.
Well,
why the heck do I come to the show?
By the way, Dan, that's not me talking smack. This joke has been happening for what? 3 years, 5 years?
5 years, probably about 7 years.
Somebody called up one show.
One show.
And said, I could see if it was one of us.
Yeah.
They're making fun of him, who's just an off-screen guy.
Because he was a camera person that night.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
And they said he's got women locked up in his basement.
Yeah, nude women.
Nude women.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. College women.
So since then,
Well, at least it was smart. He had college women.
college one, right?
Yes. So it's been an on-running joke
the
for.
point is, this is what.
We have to tell people this is a joke because we want Gary to keep his job
Right,
and
right.
stuff.
Sorry, Wallingford. But you ever notice this? You go, Gary, is that true about the thing with the women? I'll go, he laughs. He doesn't deny it. There's no denial. And Ted Bundy used to do that, remember?
Yes,
When he
that's right.
escaped twice?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right. So let's get off the joke, off the shtick.
Okay, we're going to talk about
Well, I want to ask you a question.
Roy,
Roy.
who's been here for our doorman.
Roy has been here since he got off the Noah's Ark.
Well, he was
Yeah.
he was actually Lincoln's presenter.
Yeah. Roy, is that necessary? Right. Roy actually fought in the Civil War. It was horrible.
Yes.
Yes.
For both sides.
Both sides, right?
Both sides.
Yes.
Right. He was confused. He actually had on
A little north, and then he said
gray
little south, and he
pants.
said, "Nah, I don't like the gray," so he went back to the blue.
He had gray pants.
He liked the blue better.
A blue tunic.
Yes.
He actually, he was at the showing of Our American Cousin when Lincoln was shot. It was very bizarre.
Yes.
And he also wrote Huckleberry Finn. So.
Yes.
Oh, that's out of control. All right, where do we go from here?
I don't know.
I got some questions for you.
Yes.
Well,
What is this? Okay.
all right. The first thing I got to talk about is loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, when you're friends with somebody, and forget it. I don't want to go.
Okay, we're friends. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay. Our case is, why am I here now?
No, what I'm saying is,
Bob Nolan. Oh, sorry.
I'm not talking about Bob Nolan. I'm not talking about Bob Nolan.
No, I know, but I just had to see your look on your face and run.
I'm saying,
Good thing about cameras, I
two-way
can see
street.
both.
Two-way street. All right, now we're going to digress. We came from the mayor's kickoff party fundraiser at the Elks. That's where we came
It was
from.
very good.
It was very good. Now, Billy, why don't you talk about it, and I'll chime in.
What are we going to talk about? I mean, there was a lot of people there. It was a real good event.
Cheese sticks.
Very
good cheese sticks.
Yeah. Mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Mozzarella sticks. They had little weenie doggies with the little pigs in a blanket.
Pigs in a blanket.
Cheese, crackers.
Some drama, but
a lot of finger food.
we missed the drama.
Yeah, I didn't hear any drama, which was good.
We left.
Yeah, we had to leave. We had to come here to do a show.
We left.
Right. We came to do the show. Yeah. We came here to entertain you guys who are not watching the Yankees lose 2-1.
Yeah. Well.
See, I'll give you an updated score if you watch our show. It's much better than that way.
Right.
And Tim's over there with his Red Sox shirt going, yay.
Well, let me tell you about the Red Sox. Don't worry about the Red Sox. We'll talk about that later. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, so I thought the mayor's kickoff party was really good. I thought there was a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was well attended.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
But
it was
quick.
Always
It's a
good
quick
people.
event.
It's a 2-hour event, and we stayed for a little over an hour. Couldn't stay really any longer than that because we had to get here by, because we want to have our guest, Dan, sitting on the parking lot wondering, okay, where's John?
Right. Which just happened.
Hello.
What? That didn't happen.
No, actually, no.
No.
I've never blown up a guest.
No, you've been good about that.
In the history of the show, there's
Guests have blown us off, but that's a different story.
there's only been one guest to really blow me off on the edge.
I've had one.
Yeah, on the edge. And that guest was on PBS the other night. He's
Really?
the principal of the school right now. I believe it's Hartford. Steve Perry, not the singer from Journey.
Oh, I know Steve Perry.
Yeah, Steve Perry.
Yes,
Steve
I remember
Perry,
him. Middletown,
Steve Perry,
Middletown,
Steve-
right,
The
yeah.
one that wanted to run for the 33rd
Right, that's right.
against. He went to primary Joe Serra at one time.
Right.
And John was running his campaign.
Yes.
John C. But who was there tonight?
Yeah.
But Steve Perry is a principal he's a charter school in Hartford.
He's also a graduate of Middletown High.
Yes, he certainly is. He's against tenure, and he feels that, he feels that principals should have more power than they have. And I totally, I totally don't agree.
Well, because you know some of the principles, how they would use that power.
absolutely. And
That's the problem with that whole tenure, non-tenure thing is that you give principals the ultimate say, but some of these people have never taught.
I would say
To me, that's a big issue.
More and more that's happening.
Yeah, and
Yes.
they're all administratives. They have no
chime in
clue
whenever
with
you
how to
want.
teach.
I believe they'll have to teach for a few years, but there are some now.
Yeah.
They're pulling from different fields.
Yeah.
Now, so it's changing.
And they've never taught. And to me, that's a big thing. If you've never been in a classroom, you've never had to deal with students on a daily basis,
Or
one-to-one. Or, I mean, just dealing with them like in that Not as a principal, because the principal or vice principal is a totally different.
Oh, I agree. Different animal.
Right.
I agree with you. But like in the old days,
Oh,
per
yeah.
se, for lack of a better word, usually the principal was somebody that grew up in the building.
Yep.
And put in 20 years.
Yep.
Because they were respected and they knew, and usually
They knew
it was
everybody.
behavior
The
modification.
Right.
Was they were
That's
respected for that.
right, that's
it was
right.
usually
Yep.
it could be a guy or a girl that was not.
Right.
There was really didn't matter. who
Usually
it was.
tough.
Tough, but fair.
Fair.
But the point is. And usually, I mean, there were issues, obviously. There are always
Oh,
issues.
always.
But
Right.
you always noticed that it was somebody that was promoted because they were able to deal with the kids on a
Right.
level that everybody else couldn't.
And the other thing too is that they would stand behind their teachers, which has sort of changed
When it's
too.
appropriate.
When it's appropriate, right?
Right.
When a teacher is, it's not everything falls back onto the teacher
Right.
where they're always wrong.
Well, that's the
part
problem.
of the issue.
We are now the scapegoat,
Right.
or the Lee Harvey Oswald of the teaching world. Whereas in the old days, if you're teaching a class, and obviously sometimes you put your back to the kids because you write on the chalkboard. Some administrators don't get that. They want you to write sideways. They'll actually tell you that in your evaluation.
They'll go, we think that you should write sideways, so you can do a 180-degree angle,
That type of ridiculousness. So in the old days, there might be a kid fooling around in the back,
Right.
and then an administrator would go, "Let's go out."
Right.
And you'd be like, "Yeah, you helped me out."
No.
Now you'd be like, "Uh-oh," and they'd call you down.
Mr. Blanchard, we just want to let you know that.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and then they tell you what you should do, which is candy coded.
Which is do the whole
Well,
right from the side.
They give you the Harry Wong book, or
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I mean, today one of the things they're saying is that the teacher is the most important variable in the classroom, and that's true. I mean, the teacher is a very, very important variable in the
Right.
classroom. And if you've got a really good teacher, that teacher can work some magic with very difficult kids.
Right.
However, the moment something goes wrong in the room,
Right.
it's right back to
Yeah.
the teacher's the most important
Well,
factor
right,
in the
right.
classroom. And there's many, many other factors to consider besides
agree.
just what the teacher did or didn't do.
Right.
Right.
A lot of things to consider.
And then we always go through the new fad. One year the fad was you're not allowed to yell. Well, you know what? You're right. You shouldn't yell at your kids, and I totally agree with that. But if you have kids that are lighting fires in your room, like I had a kid light a book on fire once. I yelled at the kid. Ooh. So the kid gets suspended, but they want to talk to me about yelling. Well, maybe I scared him into putting the fire out. See,
And you didn't put other
ridiculous.
kids at risk.
It's ridiculous.
That's to me. That's
what am I supposed to say?
Excuse me, Jose. Hi, excuse me. Yeah, could you, hi. Could you please, put out the fire?
No, it's not gonna work. We're kidding, and that's the problem. Sometimes a loud voice is appropriate, but if that's your shtick and you do it all the time, forget about it. Just cash it in, right?
But you're pretty good with fires, from what I understand.
What Billy's referring to.
I didn't want to bring it up completely because I didn't
Good
want
segue.
to. Good segue.
What happened was this:
This is going off subject for just a second.
there was almost a huge fire.
at the Pulino residence.
Which don't give the address because people come to my house.
No, the Pulino residence.
Right. I told her. I don't care if she's watching.
You know she's watching.
Oh,
Hi,
no,
Jean.
She might not be watching. I tell this person, my wife.
This
Look,
person.
oh, you ever notice when you have a conversation with your wife that you have a plan?
Yes.
And if you don't follow the plan, you get in trouble.
Correct.
But if they don't follow the plan, it's silly.
It's silly.
Oh,
Laugh it off.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked her, don't mow the lawn until Sunday. Ryan is involved in this story, by the way, on a lower level.
Yes.
I got it. He gave me a Coke.
Like people who run for treasurer on a lower level.
Right. Nice. Very good. I like
That was a good
Now-
segue.
So anyways, I tell her, I said, don't use the tractor.
And this was on a Saturday.
Saturday. I told
You
her.
can see where this is going.
It's
Oh
bigger
wait.
than you think. So I said, because I need to be on the road at 12. No, I need to be in Wallingford by 12 because I'm doing the prom. I have to set up
Right.
the hall. And then I have to come back home and then go back to the prom at 5:30.
Right.
We'll do the lawn on Sunday.
Right.
Because someone needs to watch. You can't mow the lawn and not watch the two
And not
children.
watch the kids. Right. You have
Of
the
course,
two little
God
ones.
forbid I say that. Right?
He has a 5 and a
How
3.
could you say that? Well, I said it. Of course, she's got to mow the lawn. I'm getting this weird feeling. So,
She's not calling though.
no.
Though the number's up.
She'll
Phone's
call.
not ringing,
My
yeah.
mother will call and defend her. Again. So, she mowed the lawn, which it was cool. But she put the tractor, she drove the tractor back into the driveway, back into the garage.
Right.
It's the important part. So we went inside.
Now you were home.
I'm in the house, yes. I'm in the house. And I came out and I said, wow, the neighbor's cooking something. I thought maybe there was barbecue season. I was getting excited, you know, for
You smelled the smoke.
right. I was getting excited. Kielbasa on the grill.
Yes.
I'm thinking,
We're going to invite you over for burgers.
Yeah, got a charcoal flavored
All of
dogs.
a sudden, I look in the bay where the tractor is. There is a fire. The tractor is on fire. I'm not talking like a little. This was movie towering
told me it
inferno.
was like
oh, absolutely.
almost in the
towering inferno fire.
Wow.
So yeah, that's right, Marco. No soda could put this one out.
Yeah, no soda.
So my wife.
No
said-
one soda.
So my wife said, "I'll get some flour. Flour for the cake."
And flour for the fire.
Oh, no. She got. I don't know. So I grabbed the.
I understand what she was
But
trying
yeah,
to
I
do.
do too. It was
Yeah.
actually. But I grabbed the fire extinguisher and did.
But didn't you push the thing
Oh wait,
out?
yeah. But before that, we pushed it in the actual driveway, which is actually smart. Get away from the oils and the paint.
And get away from you're
And-
inside your house.
Yeah, and
Put it
so
outside
forth.
where
Right.
it burns. It
Right.
burns outside.
Actually, Nick was there helping me. But thank you, Ryan.
At least he went to one event.
That was funny. So, anyways, I put out the fire, right? And I'm like, yeah, I did it. All of a sudden, guess what? The flame just goes, boom! Again. I go, are you kidding me? So now I start, I don't know
Round
why.
two.
Yeah. No, I start going like this with the fire extinguisher. Like I actually start getting more, I'm more animated. Like it's gonna help. I'm like, and it helped. It worked. So all of a sudden it goes, shoo. And there was that smoke stuff everywhere, that fire extinguisher stuff everywhere. And that's what happened. And I said, honey, I guess you did mow the lawn. But my feeling is this. If I
Now you need a mower.
I know a tractor, yeah.
A tractor.
Yeah.
But Billy,
yeah.
I don't know what Dan's going to say, but I know what Billy will say. If I did that and I broke the plant and blew up the tractor, there would be phone calls. There would be a special Facebook page. There would be committees.
You would have people coming over your
How
house.
could you do that? What's that, Tim?
Broke the mower.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
yeah.
no, even better. There would be people
yeah.
coming over to explain why he broke the motor, why he shouldn't have done it.
She would put a big cardboard sign up in front of the school.
Did you find out what the root cause was?
No, the Democrats. The Democrats were caught in
No, it had to be grass that just.
grass. No, I don't know.
That's a shame. Maybe
Bunch
it
of dry
overheated.
grass,
maybe it
maybe.
was- Yeah.
Overheated.
The tractor's like 16 years old. It's like old. You know? So
That was due.
yeah.
Now it is dead.
No, so
Burned at sea.
now I need a new one. So if anyone out there has a tractor, 613-3031. 613-31.
3-0. Thank you.
All right. Or if you want to run for office as a Republican, we need people at this point. 860-613-3031.
Roy, what are you going to run for?
Yeah, Roy.
I heard you're going to run for mayor again.
So, all right.
Well, why not? He's been a mayor in the 1800s, 1900s, so he might as well be one in the two.
God, is that necessary? So why don't we officially introduce the guest?
Yes.
Because we've been yapping.
Since we've been yapping.
But that's what we do here.
I know.
It's a talk show.
Go ahead.
Our first guest of the night, and we will be joined by Ryan Kennedy and maybe Leah later, is Daniel
maybe
Blanchard, who wrote a book called Feeling Lucky. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
I'll tell you about this. So hold it up for the camera.
For the camera?
Yep.
Tim,
The
I
book
know
is
they're going to
called
want you to come
Feeling
in on
Lucky.
it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Marco's talking.
Just come right in.
Very good.
Yeah, zooming in.
Zoom in.
All right. Beautiful. Let's give that round of applause.
Good job, Tim.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Very good, Billy. Now, the phrase feeling lucky reminds me of Clint Eastwood.
Oh, yes.
Is that why it's named? Because I didn't read the book, and full disclosure, I didn't read the book yet. Because I didn't have a copy. I have an electric copy, but the point is, did you use the Clint Eastwood?
Well-
Was it Clint Eastwood?
I'm glad you brought that up, John. It wasn't Clint Eastwood, but the reason I picked Feeling Lucky was that I wanted to point out, through that title, I wanted to point out something a lot of our kids are relying on these days, which is, I guess, kind of false hope. You know, many of them are feeling that they're just going to get lucky, that they don't have to work hard, they don't have to
Right.
do the work. You know, someone's going to come around and discover them.
Entitlement.
And, yeah, entitlement. They're going to become a professional dancer or professional singer or professional basketball player, or, you know, some uncle from California is going to pass away and, you know, and leave them millions of dollars.
It's an epidemic, actually.
It is, and that's what everybody seems to think that luck is. And I'm seeing less and less young people today that are willing to put in the work to create their own luck. Instead, they're relying on this false luck that doesn't exist. So, like, Santa Claus is going to show up and bring it to them.
Fairy tale
Someone's
luck.
going to, the fairy tale luck.
Yep.
So that was the reason why I used Feeling Lucky as the title of the book because I want to change the paradigm of luck that our young people are using these days. Santa Claus ain't dropping it off. The Tooth Fairy ain't dropping it off. You know,
This
you
isn't
got to
Will
create
Smith.
your own luck.
This
Yeah.
isn't Will Smith. I mean,
But-
the whole thing, I agree with that, is that kids nowadays, they don't want to work for it. They think it's just going to happen. I won't mention, I know a kid who thinks he's going to be this great, BMX type star and stuff like that, bike star. You have to put in hours and hours and hours of work and practice to do that, or singers or anything.
Yes.
You have to put in, and you have to put in so much time and effort. It's just something that, well, okay, all of a sudden you're going to be famous. That doesn't happen that way. And that's a weird thing that's happened since like when I grew up. It was like, Father always said, you've got to work for whatever you want. You make your own luck.
Absolutely.
And that's how,
It's
but
a
nowadays
throwback.
It somehow it got lost in transition
Yes,
between
absolutely.
to now. It's like, wow.
I had a kid back about a month ago. I was talking to him, and he's telling me how he's going to play professional football and all that. And I'm like, so what position do you play now? And he was like, well, I'm like, well, you're on the team, right? The high school team? Well, no. So you're not on the high school team. You're not getting good grades, and you think you're going to get drafted by the NFL.
Right. But
And who's going to find
Amazing.
out that who's going to draft you without
I don't know. It's under me to
college and all that other stuff? I mean, wow.
It really is like a fairy tale luck that unfortunately many of our youth are living by.
I wonder how much of this has to go to blame with reality TV. And
point.
and just the whole where people are going on, they go onto a show and like American Idol, say, and you go on a show and you sing, and all of a sudden you're a millionaire and everybody knows who you are. Well, that happens, but again, these people put in work to get there.
Yeah,
I mean, they
yes.
think the reality, they see the people going out trying out and that's it, and all of a sudden, boom, they're big stars. It's like, well, that's not how it happens. I mean, it took work for them to get to that place.
Oh, it took them a decade to get to that place that nobody
But
knows.
but they don't. They might see the 30-second when
Right,
the show's
that's what it
first
is. That's a
jumping
problem.
around in
Yeah.
the studio.
Yeah.
But I think, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I think the schools are to blame because when I went to school, we were told that school's hard.
Yeah.
School is
Yeah.
not a fun place to be at all times.
No.
But over time with the PBS and with what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely.
With doing this, doing that. we're
Positive behavior support.
Blah 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 blah. You know what? School's tough. Sometimes you want it to be impossible because you want the kids to be prepared for life because life is impossible.
Yes.
Life is an impossible trick at times. Sometimes you juggle so many things,
Yep.
pressure, not just scholastic pressure, but life pressure,
Right.
bills and this and that. And when you learn how to deal with that at a young age, obviously at an older age, you get better and better at it.
Yeah,
but what
sure.
we do as teachers, and if we're too hard on the kids, we get in trouble. I know you didn't do your homework, and we'll just put a little thing in there instead of a 0. But okay, we'll give you a packet. And we're told to do that by people, by top officials. Well, if you want to fail the kid, it's hard for you to fail the kid. Not that I want to fail the kid, but the kid didn't show for extra help. The kid didn't show for this. Yada yada yada.
He didn't
yada.
pass him his homework and stuff.
It definitely is a different type of kid today.
Yeah.
And before, you could push them. You could lean on them hard
Right.
and push them. Today, you do that, and the kid either shuts down or lashes out at you.
Or you get parents.
Or you get the parents will come in, or somebody, the authority, even the courts will come in now if you do too much of that. It's so hard to push a kid today. You almost got to do more like the inspiration thing.
Right.
You got to
you
try to
can't do that every
inspire
day.
them.
You got
But
to
every day,
prop them up and
you're
stuff. But the
not-
problem is you can't. You think about it. If you're in a classroom and you have like 28 students to 30 students, and you have 5, 6 classes a day, you can't individually do that to everybody. You can't. That's the impossible part.
Some classes respond to that, like what Dan was referring to very well.
Right.
Some classes are great because you come in and you can do your shtick and they like what you're doing,
Right.
and they like you, but that's unfortunately every class is not going to subscribe to that.
Right.
And some classes don't care. They don't care you wrote the book. They don't care that you did this. They don't care what you're trying to do. They don't care because they don't want to be there.
Right, but
tell
that's
you
what
that.
it comes down to,
They actually
right.
think they actually will say to you, "I'm doing you a favor by being here," which is insane. Free education. In some countries, you don't get that.
No.
You get free education.
There were-
Free.
There's
Thomas Jefferson wanted that for people.
well, there's
fought for that.
There's I was
Absolutely.
talking to a friend who was going to Laos.
Yeah,
Girls don't go to school.
I know.
Oh yeah, many
They don't go to school there. They just don't. They don't have that luxury. That's a luxury. And a lot of them get put in sex trade and stuff like that. I mean, really horrible conditions.
know.
Yeah.
And now they're actually someone from our church is going there, and they're building a school. They try to teach them English so they can get out of that situation of being in sex slave or into working in rice fields all their life, where they can learn stuff and go out and make something of their lives and get out of there.
Well-
and then that to me is the kids here though, but they take it for granted.
Because it's a
not
built-in,
all, but some
because
of them.
there's a built-in drive,
Right.
Because they want to escape the hardships.
Yes.
And
Yes.
anything is better than working in the rice paddies
Yes.
or being a sex slave.
Yes.
Where here, when you're given something and it's proven nature, it's proven. It's proven. I've read data on it. If you give somebody something, they feel entitled.
Yes.
They feel, well, you owe it to me.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up, Tom, because in the book I wrote, the main character is this teenage boy that is living through some very difficult times. And there's times where he's like about to lose hope, and he meets up with his granddaddy, and his granddaddy's basically saying, good. I'm glad you're living through hard times. And he's looking at his granddaddy like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Like, what, you're mean. And he's going, no, this is what makes you.
Right.
The tough times is what makes
Right,
you.
right.
So, don't be putting off hard times like, like you should be trying to avoid them.
Right.
Sometimes you should embrace them and work your way through them. And I'm hoping that, many kids will read this book and kind of get that message of embracing those hard times and working through those hard times and stop taking the easy road out. Stop blaming others. Stop blaming your parents. Stop blaming your teachers. Stop blaming the system and start taking responsibility.
But maybe because I work, at schools, and I see this as it's crazy. It's like an epidemic, and every day it's always someone else's fault.
Well,
you never have a kid say, you know what? Had I showed up for the after-school test, or that's it, never.
Well, let's think about this. Sometimes the schools themselves enable kids to do this.
Sometimes?
Okay, I'm
Happens a
being
lot.
nice by saying,
Happens a lot.
but it does a lot. That's part of the issue. Is
There's
that
another teacher just
enable
walking.
it.
But actually, I just want to let the crew know we're going to be taking a break at 8:30, and then we're going to come back and ask Dan more questions. We still got 5 minutes though, but
No.
So, but Billy, continue your point.
Oh, no, that was my point, was just that you have school systems now, and what you guys were talking a little bit about too, is that we have enabling with the school system. They're enabling these kids for their behavior. Well, don't worry about it, like you said, with the grades. That's okay, we'll just check it off and, just work harder and that's not how you're supposed to do it.
I remember when I taught at New Bern High School, Dan doesn't have to say anything, but I remember when the principal, who's not there anymore, said, well, if a kid gets a 0, meaning doesn't do the assignment, I think it was a 50. You were supposed to put a 50 in the grade book. Now,
50.
so think about it. If you have a point system, because I use points
Yep.
when I grade, so the kid gets a 50 for doing nothing. That's like scary. Do you get partial credit for not going to work?
No.
No. They're also experimenting with time. Well, some kids need extra time to get to class. Are you insane? It's insanity.
How much time is it? Let me ask you, because New Britain's a very big high school.
Huge, biggest in Connecticut, right?
But, how much time do they have in between classes?
There's 4 minutes, which you can make most of the classes. But if you're on the far side
Right.
of it, then it's going to be very difficult to make it. And I think most of us teachers are pretty understanding of that. We stand outside at our doorway. We see kids coming down the hallway, bell rang. Come on, hurry up, let's go. And and we try to find out. Like I had a kid that was coming in late. I'm like, where are you coming from? He goes, gym. I'm like, oh, that explains that.
Yeah, 'cause he's way down.
I'm saying it's way down there. So that explains that. And I know, one of the things the school is trying to do, especially for next year, they're trying to get all the teachers to really start leaning on the kids for being late.
Right.
But
Start
they have to
developing that
enforce it.
skill.
But they have to enforce it.
Yeah, and that's the difficult thing is that, when you got that many teachers in one school,
Right.
Trying to get them all on the same page to enforce
That's
it
the
100% of the time. And then when you got kids that are used to getting their own way and used to being manipulative,
Yeah.
and used to kind of working adults a certain way to kind of
Oh,
get
yeah.
out of things,
Yep.
then it becomes difficult to enforce it. It really does become very difficult to enforce it. And then, a couple months go by and you get a couple kids showing up late. And that's just how it goes. Unfortunately, it happens all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're watching The Edge with our guest is Daniel Blanchard. Did I say that correct?
Dan Blanchard.
Dan Blanchard, old friend of mine. I used to work with him at New Bern High School. He wrote a book. He penned a novel called Feeling Lucky. It's about a teenager who goes through lots of trials and tribulations and meets his grandfather, or granddaddy, as you said. And the grandfather says, "This is good for you.
Yes.
You need to learn
Right.
how to deal with
Adversity. You need to deal with the adversity.
and you need to learn how to cope."
Right.
Yeah.
Our kids can't cope these days. But on that note, we're going to take about a 3-minute or 4-minute break. We're going to come back with Ryan Kennedy, and Daniel's going to stay with us, or Dan's going to stay with us.
Yep.
Give us a call at 860-613-30.
3-0. 3-1.
That's 860-613-30.
3-0.
3-1. We'll be back in about 4 minutes.
Okay.
Good.
me the world. Is this what you had in mind?
Every choice we make has a consequence. Help EarthShare and its members restore balance to the world. Visit earthshare.org and see what you can do. EarthShare, one environment, one simple way to care for it.
Sergeant Jason Nielsen served his country as an MP in Iraq.
I was in Iraq for 10 months before I was hit by that sniper.
He suffered a paralyzing injury, ending his military service. Paralyzed Veterans of America's National Service Officers are trained to help injured veterans get all the benefits they've earned.
She worked with my wife, took care of everything for me just so I could focus on just recovery and trying to get on with life.
To learn more, visit pva.org.
From Olympic gold to mother of two, Mia Hamm's challenge these days is her twin daughter's nutrition.
What I've learned is that your baby needs the big 3 nutrients. The first 2 you've probably heard of, folic acid and calcium with vitamin D. A lesser known nutrient is DHA. It's an omega-3 fatty acid that's important for your baby's brain, heart, and eye development.
You can get DHA in fish or through food, supplements, or infant formula fortified with a vegetarian source of DHA. Learn more at thebig3.org.
Hi, it's Patsy here. I've got a great way to protect your kids from drugs. They like pets, right? Why not get them a drug-sniffing dog like Carl? He's wonderful. He's ex-military. He's vicious. The kids are terrified.
Hey, Carl.
Down, boy. It's tough love.
Don't be a patsy. Learn a better way from the partnership and our community partners.
To the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, the USO is home. The USO depends on the generosity of the American people. Donate today at uso.org.
We're back. We come back.
Yeah,
I say, now, wait, I have to say something real quick. Tim's giving us a countdown.
Yeah, he don't know.
And all of a sudden I see 4 fingers in and we come on. I mean, it's just like I'm wondering if it's Tim or if it's director or Marco.
Tim's new though.
Yeah, I don't blame Tim.
No,
because he was going like this, and then all of a sudden we were on.
Don't talk about Marco.
It was Marco's fault.
Come out here. You know what?
And there we go.
He is going to do that.
You know, no color bars at least. Thank God for that.
Marco gets cocky. He gets cocky.
Just a little.
So, Marco is something. That's all I can say.
Right, back to the book.
Back to the book.
Back to the
Marco,
interesting
take it
thing.
easy.
Can I see the book for a second again?
Please take a look at the book.
Yes.
Now, why did you decide to write a book?
Well, it's interesting you should ask that, John. When I first started teaching school, I was pretty much fresh out of the military. And I came in with like the military attitude. Right. You know, you sit down in my classroom, you do what I tell you to do.
Sure.
And I found out that didn't work too well. I found out that I was getting very frustrated, was always yelling at the kids and just.
What year did you start?
It was like '96 in New Britain. I was a few places before that. So I slowly adapted my style more toward like inspiration and motivation. And I've learned to become pretty good at it. And through the years, and particularly the last 5 years, I've had quite a few students, and more recently, saying, wow, this is like the best class I've ever took, most motivational teacher I've ever been exposed to, and I really think that you should write a book. And then this has been popping up more and more and more, and I've been like,
the book idea.
Yeah, the whole book idea. They're like, you should write a book. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the publishers make all the money anyways, and I don't know. But then, like I said, it was becoming more and more the last couple of years. Kids saying, I think you should write a book. So one day I'm driving home, and I got a buddy of mine who's a real successful guy down in Florida. His name's Dave Trainer, an old buddy of mine I went to high school with together. And he called me on the way home, we're talking, and he goes, Dan, guess what? I'm going to write a book. And I'm thinking, yeah, of course. Guys like you do that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, good for you, Dave. That's awesome. I think you should. I said, funny you should mention that. I've been getting that a lot from my students lately, and one just told me today that I should write a book. And he goes, well, Dan, I think you should. And I said, really? You think so? And he's like, yeah. So I said, So I went home that night, went to bed, got up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and started writing a book. And for the next 365 days, you could find me at 4 in the morning at my little desk, writing my book. And a year later, there it was.
It reminds me of Jerry Maguire. Remember the movie Jerry Maguire?
Yes, I do.
He got up in the middle of the night and started writing that that his ode to becoming a good sports agent.
Oh, yes.
And it was the greatest thing that was ever written in the sports world, and he put it in everyone's mailboxes, and then he got canned.
Yes,
because he wasn't going to make any money. He did it because he thought it was right.
Right.
Yes.
And he made the cover like Salinger's Catcher in the Rye.
But when I was writing this book, the thing that was always on my mind was it probably won't get published.
Right.
It's such a long shot to get published.
Sure.
But what I can do is, if I could get this thing together and maybe hand it out to a few kids and make a difference in a few kids' lives,
Sure.
Yeah.
then I've done my job.
Right.
And then when I did that, and I had a few kids saying, wow, I really like that, I said, well, maybe the next step is maybe to put it on the internet, and maybe a couple of hundred kids
Right.
will read it, and maybe it'll make a difference in their life. And if I do that, that would be enough. That would be enough to do that. I had no idea it was going to get published. And the next, boom, it's published. Amazing,
Was it the type of writing where it just popped in your head, or did you have like notebooks and like I know Quentin Tarantino uses longhand when he does ideas. Like, did you just create character and so forth?
What's interesting, that book's been in my head for about 10 years.
Okay.
For about 10 years, I was thinking about that book, thinking about it, but just couldn't seem to take that step to make it happen until that phone call one day home.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I sat down to write, I wrote it all out longhand, and it was like my pen just took it away. It just carried the day and just took it away, and it was amazing.
So that was
how
your moment
easily it came out.
of change right there. That was
Absolutely.
your motivational moment, and do it now. Right?
Do it now, and it came right out very easily. Then of course I had to go back and edit it, re-edit, and read it. You got to do all that stuff. And the tricky thing is when the first book got published, and I was like, wow, so what's next? Well, I guess a second book. I hadn't thought 1 minute about a second book.
Sure.
I had no idea what to write about a second book. So there I was at 4 a.m. again, writing the second book.
How'd you end up going to school? Because 4 a.m. is 2 hours away from 6, and you have to shower, and you live in Columbia. That must have been crazy.
Yeah, I was writing from, let's say, 4 to like 5.
Right.
5 days a week, and on weekends, 4 to like 7 until my kids woke up. Sometimes, if the kids were in bed, sometimes at night. But my life is so hectic between trying to hold down a full-time job. Yeah. My 5th kid is on its way.
Fifth kid?
5th kid is on its way in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
And I coach their soccer teams, their basketball teams.
That's why you're writing books.
Cub Scout leader, and I'm like being pulled a million different ways. So the only way that book was ever going to get written, and the only way the second book would ever get written, would be for me to do it at 4 a.m.
So you utilize your time management skills incredibly.
Incredibly,
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's something our youth today, I don't think, have a firm grasp on.
Yeah.
Is the whole time management things and making the most of every second of your day. And of course you need discipline to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the service helped you with that. I was just thinking about that because you were in a service that helped you get to time management. That's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. They give you a schedule. Boom, this is what you're going to do this is what you're going to do then. And that's how your day's packed out. And when you do that in your own life, like you said, it keeps you busy throughout the whole day. You don't have that whole, especially with 5 kids now.
You don't get in
You're
trouble.
definitely going to be busy the whole time.
That's another thing. I mean, the busier you are, you're more productive, and
Less
you're making more money.
Yes.
But more importantly, you're not getting into trouble. And these kids have too much time on their hands. Yeah. I mean, they're just like look for trouble because they're bored.
Just like sticks.
Right.
Much
just
time
like
on
sticks.
your
But let me ask you a question about the writing process itself. I break my own rule all the time because I just wrote a law paper for a law class, and do you edit as you go along? Like some days will you read like 3 pages and edit it?
Not the first copy.
Right. See, I do that.
Yeah.
I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, the first copy, I go all the way through until I can't think of anything else.
Right. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, and then I go through again and I edit it.
Then you edit, right.
And then I go through again, and then you really slow it down.
Right.
Then you really slow it down and you go page by page.
Right.
I'm talking like 1 page a day.
Sentence by sentence
I do
type
one
thing,
page,
yeah.
and I can spend like 30 minutes on one page.
Yeah.
And I'll think about that page the rest of the day,
Sure.
and I won't start the next page until tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. So you're that's very disciplined.
And it takes some time to do this. That's good. It really does. You spend a lot of time doing it.
Well, it's funny that you said your moment of change would it be? Your moment of change was that phone call, where some people get wake up calls or they use nervousness. Ian Fleming, who created James Bond, was a writer for the London Times. He just wrote stuff about military, and he was going to get married, and he really was nervous about that. So his friend said, write a book. And he did, and he went to the beach and wrote a book for 35 days, or it was 45 days.
Yeah.
But it was the editing which took him About
a
a year. Yeah, he edited. It became Casino Royale, which became the first Bond movie, or the first Bond book in '54. So it's interesting how people, what starts them. He didn't, when he was born, he didn't think he was going to be a novelist, of a spy novelist. That wasn't his, I don't think you knew that either.
Sure, and I didn't know that either. And even to this day, I still find some difficulty in identifying myself as a writer. You know, now people come up to me. I've been approached by a couple of people to write their book.
Right.
I've been approached by several people to give me, like, you know, let's say their manuscript or their college paper or whatever.
Sure.
And they're like, can you edit this? You know, and I'm just like, whoa, how did I become an expert at this? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't even write well.
Well, you know, like people that don't like Shakespeare, and the guy on your left, I don't know if he's a big Shakespeare fan, but he's almost like Iago. Like, yeah, and actually he is Iago.
Yeah. This is literally, Jonathan,
Oh,
go
no.
back for the past 6 years
Yes.
on the edge. And someday you're going to have to do this. I've told you this for years about something else, but you could do it here. And just have little snippets of when you say the same thing.
Yeah. About you?
Every time I'm on. So
The Iago. Anyways,
Iago?
you figure it out.
I know.
There was an Iago character in the show Oz. Remember the show
Yes,
Oz?
I
on
remember.
HBO?
I remember.
The Irish guy.
Hey, by the way,
Of course, though, never mind. I won't even
All right,
go into
anyways,
Iago.
Ryan Kennedy, good to have you back on the edge.
Yes. Hey. Ryan was out here. He was sitting here and says, "I'm just, you know."
Ryan is an elected member of the Board of
Ed,
Education.
yep.
So what is happening over there?
right now they've begun to find out specifically what the Common Council has allowed them in terms of additional funds, and we have a special budget committee meeting next Tuesday.
Now they asked for the additional $2 million, was it, and they received it.
No.
They received $1 million and change.
They requested, what was it, like 2.4?
Yeah.
By the time they were done with it. And they got $1.2 million additional funding from the council. But according to the newspaper, the Democrats have identified close to, what would it be? Yeah, an additional $1 million in savings between the, whatever they did to the
insurance
the
and
regular
stuff.
budget,
Yes.
the insurance, workman's comp, et cetera. So we'll see exactly. I'll see Tuesday, which is nice actually. This year we've done it better than we normally do. We're actually a week. Typically we get this the day before the meeting. This year we're getting it a week before the meeting.
That's
So
good.
That's a step in the right direction.
Now, by law, do you have to spend all your money in the fiscal year for the school board, you guys?
You can't carry it over, but the laws change, and this is what's interesting: is nobody in Middletown's figured this out, except me and Dave Bauer tipped me off on this one. But
The man behind the scene.
exactly, what the state passed a rule. It applies to the Board of Finance of a town, but of course, in Middletown, our Board of Finance is our Common Council.
Right, but in some cities it's different.
It's different in every city, but in Middletown, the Common Council is the Board of Finance basically, and we now cities and towns have authority, my understanding, to have boards of educations. The Common Council would have to set up an account where we could actually roll over 1% of our budget.
Why 1%? That's just the 2 minutes to break. Okay, thank you.
That's
That's the formula.
It's the state of Connecticut. They do whatever they want, Jonathan.
If it's voted on, right, by the legislation, right?
Yeah, and it was. It's passed. So what's interesting is at the end of the day, you have a $70 million operation.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to spend whatever they spend in between July 1st and June 30th. That's it. All of a sudden, you're supposed to shut down and do it all over.
Does it worry you as an elected member that you may hear from teachers and staff, et cetera, that they always say this, and you can say what you want. Well, the money doesn't really go where it's supposed to go. I hear that a lot. And not just Middletown. I'm talking other towns
No,
too.
it happens in every town, and that's,
No, I mean, does it?
From my experience,
And you know
being
a lot more than I do,
student,
so-
having been a student and graduating in 2 days, I've noticed, especially at the up at Central, up at the college level, that it's not necessarily here or here. It's getting lost in translation in the middle, in
Right.
Associated Deans and what would be.
You mean up at CCSU?
Up at CCSU.
Right.
There's a lot of it gets it trickles down, and by the time it gets down there,
this goes back to Councilman Bauer, but when he ran years ago, he used the term lazy and complacent. And I see that a lot. The real reason you didn't get the books was because the department head didn't order them.
Yeah.
And he or she's not going to tell you that because
Exactly.
that they screwed up. They're going to say, oh, they won't give us the money for books. But yeah, that's because they were, whatever they were doing, lottery tickets or whatever.
They were scratching lottery tickets.
Right,
Exactly.
no, I'm being serious. And that's,
They weren't buying lottery tickets, they were just scratching them.
when-
It's not like, I don't want people to think that we're making the impression that people are smuggling monies out of the Board of Education and buying lottery tickets.
Give me that camera. Give me that camera. Yep. Nick is. Anyway, I'm sorry. No, but I've noticed that a lot of it is done because laziness, pure laziness. You know, people are making a lot of money and they're like, well, and it kind of goes back to this.
And I think it happens all over. I don't think it's
feel entitled.
one particular individual.
No, right. And
where you can't say, this guy's, doing
right.
this.
So a lot of this perceived corruption, the conspiracy nut is actually saying this, some of this perceived corruption is more laziness.
Yes,
or more being...
It's not being transparent because you're covering up, you're not doing it.
Yeah, the cover-up is not what you think it is.
Had you just done your job in the first place, you wouldn't have to do anything.
Well, how come we didn't have enough books? In the deadline's a week ago. Well, because you're not going to say because I didn't do the paperwork and brought it downstairs. And that's
again, and if you ask, wherever you are, not just in education, but any place in government.
Not a Comcast. Not a Comcast.
If you ask somebody, oh, hey, what's going on with this? Oh, well, I'm so busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I didn't ask you what else you're doing. I'm asking you about the specific thing.
But I will say, the Cable Advisory Board runs flawlessly.
I'm sure that
there
chairman,
are no
that
problems.
chairman and secretary are just on everyone and everything.
Let me tell you something.
Gary's in there going like this. Yes.
That
was great.
Let me tell you something, man. Well, it's true though. Ever since Aldo left, things got better.
No.
Aruba with the money, with the $24,000 we have that we're not allowed to use.
Cruise.
All right. So listen, I want to take a break.
Yes.
Ryan, anything else to add about the BOE?
But next Tuesday, what time next Tuesday?
I think it's at 4 o'clock. That's just the budget committee
Okay, but
meeting.
they're going to have a meeting
It'll be the
afterwards?
following Tuesday will be which is June 7th, which will be our regular meeting.
Okay.
Our first regular meeting in June, because we always have
Which
two
will
meetings
also
in June.
discuss because you have to discuss the budgetary, what you're going to do with the money, correct, at that time?
Yeah, that's
yes.
when we'll discuss
Yes.
it.
Okay, so I just want people to know that it's 7 o'clock, and that will be at council chambers.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
We'll do a quick transition. A 2-minute break. Ryan will be gone. Leah will take his place. More questions for Mr. Blanchard. 860-613-3031. Feeling Lucky is the book. And we'll see you in 2 minutes. Be there or be square.
Yes.
The American dream. American ingenuity. American craftsmanship. American justice. American perseverance. And the very idea of America itself. Colonial Williamsburg is an important piece of America that everyone should experience.
Hi, I'm Deion Rains. I'm the host of Up and Coming. Check us out every Friday right here at Comcast from 7 to 7:30. Whenever someone drops by, we have great conversation and great entertainment. You'll see painters, belly dancers, improv artists, and musical groups. Whenever someone drops by, we have a great time. Why don't you join us and see who's up and coming?
Okay, shot at camera 3. We're rolling. Graphics on camera 2. Page camera 1. Audio bring up. Mic 4. Graphics. Camera 1. Cameraman, slow zoom. All right, John, thanks for being on our show.
Thank you,
High
Mark.
five. All right.
I'd like to thank the viewers of Comcast, Channel 15, for our show tonight. We'll be back next month, same time, same station. Thank you very much.
How would you like to be a director, or a camera person, or an audio person, or have your own show? Give Michelle a call at 613-3035. Take a workshop and learn all about it. So come on down and we'll see you here. All right, switch the camera.
Come on down.
You missed it by 5. Like, do it again. Do it again. Just throw the stupid ball again. All right.
Wait,
1, 2, 3. Chuck it. All right.
No.
All right, we're back.
Nice catch.
Billy had to do it. He had to throw the ball.
Kennedy gets it.
Oh, Ryan gets it. All right, that's kind of done. All right. Anyways, we're back to The Edge, our last segment on The Edge.
Last 9 minutes?
Last 9 minutes, yep. Leah has joined us.
Hi.
Hi, Leah.
How are you?
How's
Hi.
everything with you?
Good. How are things with you?
You've asked me not to ask you any boring questions.
Right. I was hoping you wouldn't.
So I won't.
Okay.
What do you think of the book, that book talk?
Good. I've heard 45 minutes of it, so I think it's wonderful.
Leah's a teacher, too.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard. Imagine that.
Crazy.
3 teachers and me.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I do all kinds of things, but that's besides the point.
So you're an educator.
I actually used to be a drug counselor. I worked with teenagers. I worked 5 years with teenagers, yeah. So I know teenagers quite well. That's why when you were talking about teens, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, you get it. Sure. So you're an educator.
Yeah. That's true.
Yep.
All are.
So, Leah, have you decided to go to the casino? Now, is that an exciting question?
Yes, it is. I'm kind of troubleshooting that at the moment. I think I'm going to go to the casino and come back with the MRTC people.
How will you get there? Because I know you were at a wedding.
Yes. I will get a ride there, and then I'll come back on the bus, I think.
Okay.
Hope I'm not scaring everyone by saying that, but.
I will be there.
Okay, I think that'll be great. Are you going, Bill?
No, I will be out of state.
Oh, okay.
I will be enjoying the South.
Oh, okay.
Kentucky.
Ryan, are you going, Ryan?
Okay, that's good.
He's going to one event. He ain't going to Bill Wilson's event, but we won't go.
All right,
into
good. All right.
I was giving Ryan a hard
All right,
time.
we just found out a secret.
Yes.
From Dan.
This is actually a really good secret, too. And that's for those who are out there who are looking for the book Feeling Lucky. He has another book, which he will tell you.
Well, look, the whole story about all the 4 or 5 books.
Yes. Oh, the Feeling Lucky is actually the 10th grade story of the struggling teen.
Right.
And then the sequel is called Feeling Good. That's the one I'm writing right now. That's the 11th grade story.
Yep.
And then the following year, if all goes well, then I'll have the 12th grade story, which will be called Feeling Strong.
Oh, cool.
And I've got, in the back of the book, I've got Granddaddy's 100 Secrets.
That's the grandfather of the protagonist, I'm guessing.
Yep, that's his dear granddaddy who's sharing with him the secrets of life. A couple pages before that. And what I am presently doing right now is I'm actually expanding those secrets to like maybe 2 or 3 page essays.
Little synopsis.
Little synopsis of what exactly they mean. Like the first one, the park is a great place to learn. So I'm expanding that. What exactly does that mean? The park is a great place to learn.
The second one says the simple things in life are the best things in life.
Yep. So I've expanded that. So that actually, I have the 100 Secrets Explained will be book number 4.
Cool.
And then we'll see where I go from there.
The third one is Where is Billy?
Yeah, where is Billy?
What is this, Waldo?
He's like,
Where is Waldo?
Like,
Where's Billy?
No.
He's like a regular now.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Yeah, be the Billy.
Be the Billy. Be the ball.
Planning ahead makes you a superstar, which is actually a good idea. Because if you plan and plan and plan, some of those dreams that you write down and plan and slowly chip away, they will come true.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Happened for me. In 1998, I wanted my own TV show.
Yep.
I'm still here.
Still here.
You haven't got thrown off yet.
No, I've tried. They've tried.
Yes, they tried to move you to 9 o'clock.
Oh, you remember? Oh, he remembers.
I remember those days.
I know, those are the days. Every week I was in trouble. But we'll keep. Wow. You want to read a little bit for us? Or is that too corny?
Well, I don't want to steal all your time. I know you've got some things you want to say too.
Yes.
Well, Leah, I didn't know what to ask you because I know you didn't want to talk about school and stuff. So I was
want to talk about the hamburger place.
Right. No.
So we don't want to talk about that.
Oh, what's that?
We have 6 minutes. Okay.
Well, no, but Leah, I didn't want to ask you anything that wasn't boring. So now I'm self-conscious.
I do have something to ask.
Go ahead, Bill.
I have something to ask her.
Yes.
Any more lady events coming up?
Lady events.
Yes. I'm working on. Very good, Bill. I'm working on a tea at the Inn at Middletown right now.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so that'll be really nice.
Hey, why not?
So on a Sunday, 2 to 4 at the Inn at Middletown, and I have to get clarification of when it would be good to have it, whether it's in November after municipal elections, or if it's okay to have it before municipal elections.
You know what happens if you drink tea after election.
I know, my goodness. Anything else you want to know, Bill? Now is your chance.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, actually have a few, and it might surprise you.
Yes.
One is Goodfellas, and somebody
I am
once
surprised.
told me that they were surprised I like the violence in it. And I said, well, no, I like, what do they call it, knocking people off to Layla. I kind of like that. And then the other thing is I like Annie Hall. I like Woody Allen very much, yes.
Should we try the scene? Can we do the scene?
You know,
If you like-
I think we should kiss first and then go get something to eat because
But you can digest your food
the
better.
digestion food better. Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Yes.
This is public access.
I've actually used that on a date once and it worked.
Really?
So it-
Oh, wow.
Yes, I
And the
did.
other 10 times it just bombed, right?
Wow.
Hey, it works once.
So anyway, I like Goodfellas. I like Annie Hall.
Annie Hall is brilliant.
Mm.
And Goodfellas is brilliant.
Probably Woody Allen's best movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be Woody. That's the perfect one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, before you knew he was kind of weird and
Yeah.
well, I know, it was just weird.
He's still weird.
He's very weird.
Yeah, but he's
But
brilliant.
he's brilliant. I mean,
Yes.
Right.
And then it seems that brilliance and weirdness seem to go hand in hand, Councilman Bauer.
Mm.
But
Common people can't understand them.
sorry. So, what's your favorite musical group?
I have a few. I like the Rolling Stones, believe it or not. And to the MRTC meetings, I want to get a tight bicycle shirt with the Rolling Stones tongue on it.
I like that.
But I don't know if you guys can handle
I can
that.
handle it. I can handle it.
And the other thing is, I like a lot of the old '60s bands, like Cream, with Eric Clapton in it.
Three
I
Dog
like,
Night.
huh?
Three Dog
They were
Night.
70s.
No, not so much.
What about 60s?
The Doors.
Grateful Dead.
I like the Doors
Beatles.
because there's no one sexier than Jim Morrison.
Come on, he was overrated.
No one.
No, Jim
I like
Morrison.
Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison was
Really?
a poet, a singer,
Yeah,
songwriter,
and very cosmopolitan.
and very drunk.
Oh.
Well, yeah, an expatriate, lived in Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Paris
There's all that.
for a while.
I like that.
Favorite author?
I do like.
Dan Blanchard.
Well, yes, I think you're magnificent.
Oh, thank you.
And I do like Salinger. I like. I like Great Gatsby for a novel. I love that.
Yep.
And what else do you want to know?
Favorite poet?
Well, the feminist in me would say Sylvia Plath,
Right.
but then I spent a lot of time in Ireland that I like Yeats.
Okay.
And
John Keats? Do you like John Keats?
I do like John Keats. I've never been to the Lake District in England, but
Right.
that's one place I want to go to. I love Wordsworth.
Yep.
What more can I say?
How about your favorite modern writer? Because Salinger would be, as we every year. passes,
Modern?
Like,
It's a good question. I'll have to think about
like
that.
mine would be Bret Easton Ellis. I'm a big Bret Easton Ellis fan. I think everything he writes blows me away. It's just so insane.
I'll have to think about that and get back to you.
Really?
Yes.
How about your favorite writer, Dan?
My favorite
I think
writer is
his name
Dan.
is- I think his
How
name's Dan
politically correct am
Blanchard.
I? Dan Blanchard.
Besides Dan Blanchard.
Oh boy!
Like-
you know what I really enjoy? There's so
We have 2 minutes. We're gonna talk over and keep going.
You know what I really enjoy? I like going to the 158 section library. It's the psychology section. The psychology of winning,
Yeah.
setting goals, self-help,
Sure.
improvement.
DSM-4?
And there's a plethora. Anthony Robbins is huge in that area.
It's funny, we were talking about that before the show
Yeah, I
started.
love
I had
that
like 3 or
area.
4 of his books, and I had the CDs. There's some cassettes over there of Anthony Robbins that Ken Musemer left.
Yeah, he's got some fabulous stuff out.
What does he do now? I mean, I don't see much of him.
He had a TV show back like a year or two ago.
Briefly on NBC.
Briefly, and then
For like 2 weeks or something.
He
And
still
I
did the
haven't
Firewalk.
heard-
Remember the Firewalk?
Yeah, I love the
It was
fire.
awesome. We were like,
that was really cool.
Go in the fire now.
Yeah, there's a new guy I've been following a little bit. His name is Brendan Bouchard.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like on Anthony Robbins' coattails a little
Yeah.
bit. He talks about him a little bit, but I don't exactly know what he's doing like today.
Now, he got divorced, Anthony Robbins.
Yeah,
That
imagine
wife forever. He got
Oh
divorced.
yeah,
He's
but
with
he
a
was
new wife.
attacked too for that.
He what?
They attacked him for that.
yeah,
They were
really?
like, you're the guy with all the answers.
yeah.
You
So you have no
know, and
answers
then
for your
you don't have the
wife,
answer
yeah.
for this one.
I know.
So they went after him for that one.
I
you
know. And I was a big fan of his. I mean,
Yeah.
But even the most positive people sometimes have downfalls.
well, I think he
That's
got
part
too,
of
I
life.
think he
There
got
you
too
go,
big.
Bill.
I think he got too big.
I think that's part of the
with
problem with a lot of
traveling.
people, yeah.
I'm guessing. I don't know. He was in a film, right? He was in a film with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, it was a couple films. Big guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he's
very tall.
6'6", 6'7", he's a real big man.
He's huge.
Want to remind people again real quick?
Yeah, sure. Oh, plug yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Don't worry.
And this is to remember people, Dan Blanchard, and feeling lucky. So people know.
Wow. All right, Billy. Billy's on in a couple weeks. I don't know when.
I'm either on. Well, here's what it comes down to. It's either Bob switches with me, and I'm on for June 10th, or you won't see me again until July. So hopefully, Bob, if you're watching,
Ryan,
I'd like
when do you
to
on?
switch.
When's the Republican show on?
The first Wednesday.
David's on this Friday. We're done. We're black.